Hi there, this is Amy Cuny with Wise Living Real Estate, and this morning I want to introduce you guys to Stephen Alberstadt, a local business owner here in Daphne, who handles insurance. So Stephen, welcome, and I want you to share with people what's going on in your industry in these unusual times.
Well, Amy, thank you for having me this morning. Again, my name is Stephen Alberstadt. I'm with the Sheila Booth Insurance Agency here in Daphne. Been here for 23 years. We are now Southern Coastal Insurance Agency. We teamed up with another agent back in July of last year, and we're now an independent agent. Yeah, during these times, it's been challenging for I think everybody, especially in the insurance. A lot of people like to come in and talk to their agent, and they're just not able to do that right now. And so most of the business is being handled by phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, during these unusual times, do you have your doors closed? Do people have to make appointments? Are you doing online at all as far as that goes, or mostly phone? I hear you say phone, so I'm thinking phone.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a lot of a lot of businesses handled on the phone, or, we're sending documentation out to be e-signed. The good thing about a lot of these companies now is that they're, allowing e-signatures on stuff instead of a wet signature. We do keep our doors locked here. However, if someone has to come in, we recommend that they make an appointment, and it's just for our safety and theirs as well.
Now, this is interesting because here we are May 1, and when I talked to you the other day, we were in April, and we didn't know what Governor Ivey was going to do. So, things are starting to open up. Last night by my house, it's been dead quiet from 10 o'clock to 5 in the morning, and then all of a sudden cars are going by, people are out again. Do you have plans of opening up your doors again to welcome people in, as this goes along? Are you going to require different things when I know they're opening up retail stores this weekend. So, I know we all have to make that transition, nervous or not. Do you have plans on doing that soon?
Yeah, I mean, we will. I think we're going to be cautious, at first, and I think the general public is going to be cautious, to be honest with you, and I will say, I mean, we have a lot of, retirees in this area, first of all, and they have been, ultra, cautious during this whole situation. So I think that it's going to be, just kind of slow getting back to the norm, if we can ever get back there. But, a lot of people have adapted to telephone and emails these days.
Yeah, I'm impressed. In real estate, we used to couldn't close online, and she made that proclamation, I guess, back in maybe March, first part of April, I think it was March,
Right.
where we can do wet signatures. And I love that. And I hope we can continue on because so many people are online now and have gotten used to it. Do you think in the insurance industry, it's going to continue on? Is that a permanent change, or do you know?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be something that's going to trend us more towards, insurance. Basically, there have been so many companies that have gotten away from agents. A lot of people like to have an agent, but you can buy insurance online now, and I mean, that's just the way. That's kind of the trend.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of people, a lot of homeowners and auto owners do not like to do that. And we recommend that you have an agent just to confirm you have good coverages and your coverages are what you need to protect you.
Yeah, I think if you're not in the insurance industry, you really, unless you do, well, even if you don't, I just think there's so many caveats and things to know about insurance that, yes, as a homeowner, car, or whatever, it's good to have that. I like to deal with local people. You can put a face with a name, but if you have something come up with hurricane or something like that, you've got somebody you can call. And I love that you get that personal experience. So are you finding during these times that more people do you have people coming in for purchasing homes, getting insurance quotes? Has it died down? Is it starting to pick up? Did you even notice a change?
We noticed a little bit of a change, the very first week that these orders came out. It was just, It was silent. I mean, the phones, it was almost like the phones were unplugged. I mean, they just were not ringing, but now that, they are ringing again, and It has given a lot of people time to sit down, look at their policies, kind of study what they have,
Right.
do some comparison shopping, if you will. And,
Mhm.
we have seen, the new home purchases, die down a little bit, but they're still steady.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that my husband and I in our construction business pulled back a little bit because the phones did die in real estate and for me as a realtor and him as a builder. But now the phones have picked back up. I mean, my gosh,
Right.
the other day I talked to you, I think we had 15 people we had talked to, and now it's gone up to like 20. And my husband's quoting contracts again. So people are on that steady. I see an increase. People are going a little crazy at home. So they're trying to get back in that mode. So that's a positive thing, very positive.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
so the people that you carry now you do not just homeowners insurance, but you do others, right? What do you offer there?
Right. Yeah. I mean, homeowners, auto insurance, commercial insurance, life insurance.
Yeah.
We do all of those. We like to try to bundle people so that they have everything here and taking advantage of all the discounts that we offer for the bundling. But, a lot of the companies around here have stopped. I mean, some of the major companies have stopped writing wind coverage. So, usually
Mhm.
on your home policy, you are dealing with two separate companies in some cases. Now, we do
Right.
have companies that, are writing full HO3 policies, which includes wind coverage, which is a great thing.
Yeah, it is a great thing. Okay, so let's talk about the flood map. I know it's changed, and people need to know about that. And are rates ridiculous right now as far as getting flood insurance?
They have. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because April 1st there was a rate increase with the National Flood Program. And, we do write through some private flood companies.
Right.
Some of the private flood companies have kind of backed off some of their risk. I'm dealing with one right now in Gulf Shores where, we had a great rate on a house in Gulf Shores, and the private company has basically non-renewed the policy and is kind of forcing us to take it to the National Flood Program, and I mean, the rate was already high, but they're looking at possibly a 100% rate increase because of this.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
That
it's one of
is
those situations. It's one of those situations where had they known this when they purchased the house, they may not have purchased.
okay. I did not know that until you just said that. Okay. So we're building down at the beach, and thank goodness we got in before that deadline, which I'm tickled about. And this is our personal house. But guys, realtors, buyers, sellers, understand this. If you're not hearing anything today, if you're getting close to the water, you need to get an insurance quote. You need to get an insurance quote before or during the due diligence period of a contract, an accepted contract. This is huge, 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 huge. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and
Um,
one of the things you want to remember, especially on the water, is make sure that your elevations are in the positive. I mean, this house, unfortunately, the reason why we're having a tough time with this one, with even other private markets, is that it's a -6, on the elevation, which means it's 6 feet below base flood, and
and
it's impossible in a V zone to get insurance, through anybody, and
at
so
that
that's
point, you're self-insuring. I mean, you really are. I mean, we as builders are finding people are tearing down older houses that are built at that level because you had the 100-year flood a couple of years ago, and my parents' house was just destroyed down bottom
right.
as far as the contents of it. I have never seen a flood before. Been through hurricanes countless, but it's just unreal. And I know that last year when we built our house down there, or the year before, whatever it was, there was a certain elevation, and then they increased it, and we've increased it. We go above and beyond, but you
Right.
really want to check that out and get that elevation certificate,
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
right?
typically, I like to see homes when we get the elevation certificates. I like to see homes 3 feet above the base flood. After all of
Yeah.
your elevation, figures are put in. I mean, if you can get in that +3, that's kind of what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, it's scary. And when everybody's talking about climate change and the water's rising and things like that, I'd love to build higher up, but I don't want an elevator in my house. So, or me to have to ride something up to get into the house. So I hope we're there. I'm pretty sure Ron did good on that as far as
Yeah, it did.
the elevation. Okay, so let's talk about during these unusual times. I know a lot of people who have mortgages, their mortgages have been pushed off a little bit, rent and things like that. Are your companies that you use that people go through for you to handle insurance? I'm sorry, I don't know the right term, but I don't know if it's you're brokering it, but if that's the right word. But do y'all have like a little bit of time, a little bit of leniency with those people, especially if
Yeah,
they're rolled into their mortgages?
yeah. We're seeing a lot of the car company, the auto companies, that we use, and most of them have gone on and kind of advertised that, they are giving refunds because people aren't driving as much. I mean, when they're not driving as much as, the
No way.
accidents go down. So they are giving refunds on that. As far as grace periods, if you will, we're seeing a lot of the companies offer, longer grace periods to get those payments in, and they're working with the clients, on their payments, if they're monthly. Typically, a lot of the homeowners are going through an escrow account, and that money's already sitting there. So there's really no delay with the banks
Yeah.
getting that money in.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, if somebody has a claim for some reason, they for some reason have a flood or something comes up or a fire, how quickly are those claims getting processed now? Is there any kind of lag time now that, I think about the SBA and their system crashing and things like that. Are you having a slowdown in addressing those claims?
We have not seen, any slowdown in the claim response. We've seen quite a few. I mean, just a couple, I guess a week ago, we had a wind event here where there was some hail damage and wind damage, and we had a few claims come in, and those claims have, already been submitted. Claims adjusters have been, assigned to them, and
Mhm.
and scheduled to be out there to look at the issues. So, no, we haven't seen any issues with any delays in claims.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Is there anything else you can share with us from a home buyer, home seller, or just a consumer looking for insurance? Is there anything else you want to share with us, or anything you can think of that I haven't covered?
Yeah, let's. I mean, if you will, let's talk about the gold fortification. Because
Yes.
buying new homes, and I know with Ron, he builds quite a few custom homes, and all of them are typically gold fortified. And if you're a buyer and you're looking for a new home, most of the homes that are out there are going to be gold fortified, but it might be something you want to talk to your realtor about, or the builder, just to make sure, because insurance rates, we're seeing tremendous, insurance rates based on, the gold fortification. What we're seeing basically is $350,000, $400,000 homes, with the gold fortified for around $1,000 or even sometimes under. So it's
Yeah.
it's well worth, getting into that gold fortified program.
Yeah, and one thing I want to mention when you're getting insurance quotes, this is a very insurance, and I'm sorry you might hear my dog. Yeah, I'm going to let him out, and we're just going to kind of keep going with this. Hang on
Okay.
just a second, Steve. Come on, you can go. Come on. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you work out of the house. But
That's fine.
anyway, so one thing that I've noticed is, well, going back to gold fortification, if you're a realtor or a buyer, if you're buying an older home, you really need to get the quotes on the house, number one. And if you get a really, really low rate and it kind of scares you, start looking at the coverage. And I said, you also want to check it because, typically when they do, if a realtor gets it from an agent, they use an average score. Some insurance companies will increase that score and not be as conservative. And some people don't have that credit score, and that affects your price of your insurance, right?
It does. It does. A lot of the companies have moved to credit-based, ratings. And,
Mm-hmm.
if we don't have all of the information for the buyer, typically they'll let us use an estimate on that. And my estimate, usually I use average, on everybody. It kind of sits you right in the middle there. And typically it comes in a little bit better once we do get the information from the client. But there are
Mhm.
situations, if an agent is out there putting above average, excellent credit, you're seeing this great rate, then all of a sudden, when you go to closing, your premium's a lot higher than what you were quoted.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so you
And
have to be
your note goes up. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. One of the other things you want to look at is how the home is rated. Make
Yeah.
sure that when you get that quote that, the home is insured, to replacement cost value. Make sure that your
Mhm.
contents, your belongings are insured correctly, because if you're underinsured there, you have a total loss. I mean, that's a big hit.
Oh, it is. Hey, I wanted to mention this because I don't think people who are buying on the water always understand this, and maybe even from out of the area. Um, the house is basically covered. You don't cover anything on the ground, right? Sprinkler systems, you don't cover, I mean, insurance companies don't do that, do they?
Well, yeah, we would cover. I mean, we would cover a sprinkler system in a house. Let's say that you get struck by lightning and your sprinkler system is hit. That sprinkler system is covered under the homeowner's policy. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's awesome. Actually, that's right. I remember seeing something that had been hit by lightning and it went through that line and it blew up
Yeah.
the driveway. So, yes, I
Yeah.
did that. Forgot that. Um, okay. So, what about docks and piers on the water on a house?
Yeah, docks and piers that are over the water, basically, they're not covered for any type of wind or anything like that. Typically, on your normal homeowner's policy, that's going to be the liability of the homeowner. I mean, they're going to assume the risk there. Now, the dock and the pier. Let's say that you have a boat lift that catches fire or is struck by lightning or something like that. That is covered. So
Okay.
so it's just not covered for the wind and typically not for the flood.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's so important when you're building a pier or dock. You need to consider that the height of it because we do have
Right.
rising waters as well as wind. So,
Yeah.
in the structure of your house, I know the more, when you have hip roofs, I've learned this from Ron, when you have hip roofs, it's better as far as when we have hurricanes versus ones with, I think it's called cupolas,
Gable.
gables, and things like that because they tend to catch wind and rip off easier. So that's kind of why we like to do more flat. You still want the aesthetic, but you have the hip roof going on. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, we had a house, we learned this the hard way. We had a house on County Road 1 and we built a pier. Well, we had a hurricane, and so the boards washed across the street. So we went
Yeah.
and got them, put them back out on the dock. We had a tropical storm come through, do the same thing, put them back out there. And the third time I said, okay, we need to get our pilings up there. So, I mean, it taught us a good lesson the hard way. You'd think after
Yeah.
the second time you do it, but it took us three
Yeah.
times. We thought surely there won't be another storm like that. But yeah. Okay. Any other insight? Because I know you have a ton in the insurance industry is changing, evolving like we all are.
No, I mean it's I mean I would just encourage homeowners and people who own cars, take a look at your policy.
Right.
Make sure that that you're properly covered. I mean, the insurance is kind of that necessary evil. You have to have it.
Yeah.
And you hate it until you need it. And
Yeah.
just make sure that if you do need it, that you're properly covered. That's and now's a good time with this slowdown to kind of look at things and one of the things that we offer is a review of a policy. If someone wants to bring a policy in or email it to us, we'll take a look at it, offer suggestions, offer some comparative quoting. I mean, we're more than happy to do things like that.
Yeah, I think education is key. And I will be talking to you about car insurance after this. But I can't think of any other questions. This is very informative and I'm always learning something. So anyway, I want to thank you, Stephen. And if you will share with others how they can support a local business and give them your phone number and your website.
Yeah, well, our website's under construction right now, so it's not there yet, but it's going to be, www.getcoastalins.com. We are directly across the street from the post office in Daphne, two-story stucco building. Our phone number is 251-621-1822. And you can email me at Stephen, that's Stephen, at getcoastalins.com.
Yep, yep. And Steven's a great guy. I've known him for a very long time. So
Yeah.
definitely call him. He'll get you in the right direction. So I want to thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You do the same. Thanks, Amy.